I'm going to explain to you Arnold's real secret for gaining mass and muscular weight. So I'm one of the lucky ones out there to actually have a copy of Arnold's booklet, How to Gain Muscular Weight and Massiveness. This pamphlet, I keep it in like a little sealed envelope here. This packet is jam packed with different information that I didn't know Arnold never spoke about this in the encyclopedia, but in today's video, I'm going to show you how he talked about gaining muscular bulk. And he goes and outlines the diet portion of this, which is, I think, really, really good. So remember, this was created in the 70s, right? So this is not modern information, but I kind of wish I had this information when I started, and I'm going to outline it for you guys today. So let me just put this down because I don't want this to rip or anything like that. This is very, very precious to me. Because again, like I said, I'm one of the only people to have this. So I'm just going to put this down. All right, so that's safe and good. So first and foremost, Arnold states in his book, getting massive is easy. Now, easier said than done. Let's push the whole steroid thing aside, right? Arnold was able to achieve things in the 70s that was unheard of. He was massive at 19 years old. He had huge arms. I think his arms were like 22 inches at 19, which is crazy to think about how much muscular weight he put on. Now, I did a whole video on the routine that he outlined here, but today we're just going to be talking about the diet. Arnold believed that the diet was 50% of bodybuilding. Now, a lot of people nowadays will argue that, but back then, nutrition wasn't as important as it is now. They didn't know. They just trained really, really hard, which is the difference between then and now. So he said for rapid weight gain, you need to eat 1 gram per pound of body weight in protein. That rule still stands. I use that rule too for a lot of clients and a lot of people. It's just a good starting point number for how much you need to actually put on muscle. Anything after that is kind of gravy. Now, Arnold also stated that to make progressive weight gain, you need to consume 30% more calories than your normal daily requirements. Now, obviously, if you need 2,000 calories a day, just to maintain yourself, you obviously need to eat more than that. But he actually had a range between 30 and 100%, which again, it's a huge range. So that's why I'm just talking about the lower end here. But these are the requirements, he said. These are, if you weigh any of these numbers, this is how many calories you need according to Arnold. So if you were 130 pounds, you need 3,000 calories. If you were 150 pounds, you need 3,400 calories. If you were 170, you need 3,850. If you were 190, you need 4,300. If you need 210, you need 4,800. And if you were 230, you need 5,300. Again, that's just to maintain your weight. Think about that for a second. Now, when I first started lifting, I was like 130, 140 pounds, which means I probably needed around, according to Arnold, around 3,200 calories a day. I was not consuming that just to maintain my weight. That's just to maintain. So now what Arnold says is, and I think this is really, really smart, is you need to eat for your goal weight. So if I started and I weighed 150, I need to have, instead of having 3,400, which is what he recommended just to maintain, just to my requirements, and I wanted to get to 200, I needed to eat 4,800 calories. So I needed to eat according to that number as the requirement, as if my body was already there, which I think for a lot of skinny guys who are just starting out is a really, really good requirement, getting in all those calories. Now, modern science will tell us if you consume all these excess calories, you're going to gain weight. But think about it. When Arnold started, he was a younger kid, so he tried to get in as much calories as he can. But here's where it gets a little more crazy. Not only do you have to eat for your body weight goal, so again, if I wanted to weigh 210, I'd have to eat 4,800 calories every day. But to do it rapidly, I'd have to add 1,000 calories onto that. So I'd be eating 5,800 calories according to Arnold to get to 210 from 150 or whatever the number was, whatever I said I wanted to be. But I thought this was pretty insightful, and I wish I would have had this information when I started, because it would have told me and it would have pushed me to eat more calories. When I first started lifting and working out, I just automatically assumed that if I ate good foods, I would get there. I didn't really worry about the calories, because when I started in the early 2000s, it was about just eating clean foods. But Arnold talks about the calories and what you need, and I love that, and I think that that's a great thing. So he also gives a sample day of eating, which is around 5,000 calories and around 300 grams of protein. So I'll tell you what it was. So breakfast, it was 3 eggs, half a pound of beef, 2 pieces of buttered toast, and 2 glasses of milk. They loved milk back then because it was an easy form of protein to get in and an easy way to get calories in. Again, there's nothing magical about these foods. It's just a matter of just getting in those calories. So he recommended having 6 meals. That was the first meal. Now, your snack, your next thing is half a meat sandwich and 1 hard-boiled egg and a glass of milk. Again, what's a meat sandwich? You know, I don't know what it was in the 70s, but basically you're going to have 2 slices of bread and a piece of protein in there, essentially, right? Next is your lunch. You're going to have a meat sandwich, a cheese sandwich, 2 glasses of milk, and fruit. That's your lunch. Pretty easy, simple meal, right? Then you're going to have another snack. You're going to have another hard-boiled egg, 3 slices of hard cheese, 2 glasses of milk. They didn't have protein powder back then. It was not as good as it is now. So they would make their own protein. He gives like a whole recipe on how to make your own protein powder, and it looks nasty. It's like eggs and brewer's yeast, and I don't know. Not my thing. Just you could insert protein powder there. And then for dinner, you're going to have half a pound of ground beef, baked potato with butter, salad, and 2 glasses of milk. Now, one of the things that he doesn't say it here, but he has it here, is ground beef. They eat a lot of ground beef back then. I like ground beef because it's much easier to count. Different cuts of steak are going to have different amounts of calories, different amounts of fat, but ground meats usually have the same. If it's 80-20, it's the same calories. If it's 90-10, it's the same calories. It just makes it a little bit easier to track and count. And then before bed, you would have another protein shake. And that's when he gives like his recipe for his protein shake. But you could insert your own protein shake there. But that's a good way to get 5,000 calories and over 300 grams of protein. Now, one of the really cool things, now again, remember, this was in the 70s, right? Arnold suggested that you get a calorie counter book, because there used to be calorie counter books back then, not apps, because phones weren't around. But you would pick up a calorie counting book from the local pharmacy and log all of your calories every day to ensure that you're eating enough. That one sentence could drastically change guys who can't gain weight's life, because it's true. You need the calories, and I didn't start gaining any muscular weight until I figured that out as well. The calories are what push things forward. You need to be able to track them. So that's Arnold's rules for getting massive. And according to Arnold, it's easy to get massive, and it is true, because if you're eating that many calories, you're going to get massive. Now, how does this relate to nowadays, right? Nowadays, a lot of people talk about being a small calorie surplus. If you eat all this excess food, you're going to gain a lot of extra body fat, and you have to diet that weight off. And that is true. But if you're just starting out, I think that every person needs to go through a big bulk at certain portions of their lifting career, especially to gain enough muscular weight. And you need to go through a period of time where you do put on a little bit of body fat, but you're also going to gain a lot of muscle with that body fat as well. And you need to be able to do that by pushing the calorie limits. Arnold has great recommendations here. I will prop all these calorie numbers up here so you can screenshot that and use it going forward. But that's just your normal requirements. Remember, you got to eat to your goal. So if you weigh 170, then you have to eat, and you want to get to 210, you have to eat those calories plus 1,000 extra calories. So that's Arnold's way to get massive. If you guys like this stuff, just make sure you hit like and subscribe for more. I'll catch you guys on the next one. If you're interested in taking your health and fitness journey to the next level, be sure to check out my diet books and training programs. These resources are designed to provide you with the tools and knowledge you need to reach your goals and feel your best. Click the link to pick up my books right on Amazon.